You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, if you were out on South Beach today, you saw Al Leiter cruising up and down that strip. Yeah, that's what he does to prepare for the game. How about this shot, though? That's Yankee history. One guy played basketball, opened the door for the other guy to become a Yankee. We're all set. It's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Miami Marlins in Game 2 of a two-game set from Marlins Park in Miami, Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won a nail-biter yesterday by a score of 2-1 in 12 innings, but boy, they had many opportunities to lose that game.
Well, the Marlins got to be kicking themselves. They had so many opportunities. Bottom of the ninth, Chad Green, man on third base, nobody out. He gets a couple strikeouts and then gets out of it. And the game goes on. Only 2 runs scored combined. And A.J. Cole, he gets out of a base loaded jet. That kind of reminds me of '96 with that catch there, Michael. Tommy Kahnle comes in, gets the last 3 outs, and the Yankees actually stole one from the Marlins last night.
And they will take it. Their bullpen did yeoman work. Now, they got some bad news today. Aroldis Chapman will go on the 10-day DL. We'll talk about that later on. But look what the bullpen did yesterday. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Now, you don't like the walks, 5, but 9 strikeouts, 7 pitchers used. And the Yankee bullpen, 3.12 this season. Only the Diamondbacks and the Astros have a better ERA. Well, let's take a look now at the pitching matchup for tonight's game as the Yankees try for a sweep of this set. Brought to you by People's United Bank. Trevor Richards will get the start for the Marlins, and for the Yankees, it's Lance Lynn. And Al, last time out, Lynn didn't pitch that well, but before that, he's done a good job.
Yeah, it's been a nice trade from the Minnesota Twins. Here's a guy, veteran pitcher, has a couple seasons with the Cardinals, 18-game winner, all-star. Listen, like any pitcher, he likes his fastball, and I like it as well. In those 2 starts with a relief appearance, he had an ERA under 1. You can see what he does. Pounds his zone, throws a lot of strikes. He's got a good cutter slider. In that game against Toronto, yes, he left some balls up, gotten some bad counts, ended up giving up 5 runs. It was a little bit disheartening at times. They didn't really kill him, but they hit it where they weren't, and it really was a difference in that game. He ended up getting a no decision, but I like him. When he pounds his zone, he throws a lot of strikes. Tough to beat.
Yankees would like some length out of him tonight. When we get back, Meredith Marakovitz will talk to the former Yankee captain Derek Jeter, now the CEO of the Marlins. That's coming up next, right here on Yes.
I'm Meredith Morakovitz. Yesterday, I sat down with Marlins CEO Derek Jeter to discuss what life is like on the business side of baseball.
You're a part of a team. I mean, that's how you are on the playing field, and it's just like that here. An ownership group, we have a great ownership group. We have a great front office. We've added some quality people to the team here, and I just enjoy working with people who are much smarter than me. Everyone adds value, and we're getting an opportunity, like I said, to build something that over time will be very worthwhile, and more importantly, it'll make us feel good. I tried to just sit at home and golf for a couple years, but I enjoy building things. You build your career on the field. Now I get an opportunity to take some of the things that I've learned from the Yankee organization and be proud of something that we're building here.
Members of the Marlins organization have told me there's a difference since Jeter and this new ownership group have taken over. It's been noticeable despite the record. There's a clear plan and much more professionalism from top to bottom. Exactly how long it takes or whether or not it works, that remains to be seen. But collectively, they feel like as an organization, they are moving in the right direction. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Michael Kay will be joined by Al Leiter and Paul O'Neill. First pitch coming your way after the break.
Local Tri-Accurate dealer by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and by Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Al, how was that?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Amazing.
You look so happy.
Look at that. That's really serious core work, Paul.
That's hard to keep your balance. Hey, you ran out of gas.
That's the way to get ready for a broadcast. We are here at Marlins Park where the roof is closed on another hot day. And we'll give you a quick look at the Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Lexus. Gardner, Stanton, and Hicks as the top three, and Duhar, Walker, and Torres middle three. And the bottom third of the order, Greg Bird, Austin Romine. And with no DH in the National League Park, Lance Lynn on the mound batting ninth. So Gardner's ready. The starter Trevor Richards is ready. And let's do it. Here in Miami, the first pitch is up and away, and we are underway. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire. Angel Hernandez at first. Alan Porter at second. Todd Titchener is at third. Popped up. Left field. Dean makes the play. 1 away.
Well, let's take a look at the Marlins pitcher. Trevor Richards, good story, Paul. 25 years old. You see his numbers, made the team out of spring training. This guy was a free agent signed, minor league free agent out of Drury University in Missouri. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. This is what he has. Fastball, change, curve. Changeup will be his pitch. Let's watch closely tonight. Minor leagues, he was a strike thrower. His pound of the zone threw a lot of strikes, under 1 base on ball per 9. And I mentioned he's a minor league free agent 2016. Doesn't throw very hard. You're going to see right around 90-91. The pitch that he'll be getting the Yankee hitters out, or at least trying, is that changeup, 163 batting average against.
Stanton checks his swing and the count 2-0. Stanton singled his first time up yesterday, also doubled hard against the wall in left field, still looking for his 300th career home run. And you know it would mean a lot for him to get it here. But the Marlins obviously have other ideas. Yankees won yesterday 2-1 in 12 innings. 3-0. And he walks on 4 pitches. Take a look at the Marlins defense, which is brought to you by Geico. You've got Dean in left, Sierra in center, and Ortega over in right. In the infield is Anderson, Rojas, Castro, and Dietrich. That's third to first. Rio Muto is behind the plate, and Richards is on the mound. Here's Aaron Hicks. There was a point during the Yankee 11 game homestand that he looked like he was about ready to take off. But he has 1 hit in his last 14 at-bats.
It's amazing because he had some really good at-bats last night. Hit a couple balls hard, got nothing for it. I just had a feeling as the game went on that he was really due to do something. Just never came about.
The 0-1. 0-2.
There's that good changeup you talked about, Al. And he'll throw a changeup off of a changeup, meaning he'll take a little bit off. You see the good movement away. Let's see the arm action that looks just like a fastball. It really tricks the hitter.
Kyle Hendricks like Chicago Cubs pitcher, doesn't throw very hard, but he uses his changeup a lot.
1-2.
Changeup to me is probably the hardest pitch to hit as a hitter because you just don't pick it up well. But also, you know, you as a cutter ball, you could continually throw cutter. Where changeup, if you see 2, 3 in an at bat, you start to see it a lot better. So you got to pick your spots, and there he went back to the fastball.
So 2 down, and that will bring up Miguel Andujar. Andujar had the game-winning RBI as he lofted a sacrifice fly in the top of the 12th inning, driving the second run. Yankees held on for a 2-1 win.
Well, it seems like a long time ago, Michael, right?
Mm-hmm. And a strike. There'll be many things taken into account when they decide who the American League Rookie of the Year is. One of the things is WAR, and Andujar has a 2.3 WAR. Gleyber Torres has a 1.5, but this will be interesting. Shohei Ohtani has a 2.6, 1.5 as a position player, 1.5 as a pitcher, 1.1 as a hitter. You see Andujar's ranks in other big categories. Now the thing with Ohtani that makes it interesting, he hasn't pitched in a long time. He's only been a hitter.
Yeah, I think the long term for Shohei Ohtani is going to be as a pitcher. Just watching his stuff, I know he had the elbow issue.
He can hit too.
He can. I just, there's a reason why the last guy who done it was Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
kind of hard to do. Right?
As exciting as it is, and I hope he does it, it's just the speciality of baseball now. It's hard to do both. It's not easy.
Now, shouldn't start this with 2 outs, but I'm going to anyway.
Good at. Go for it.
Ohtani, 32 starts as a starter. You know, great numbers. Or would you rather have him as a hitter, 40 home run guy? What's more valuable to a team?
In my mind, the everyday player is. But, you know, I'm sure Al looks at it as, you know, a #1 starter that you can go to in a must-win situation.
2-2.
Listen, if you described an ace,
right,
I would take an ace any day. Of all those years that you won, Paul, with the Yankees in that dynasty era, as good as your lineup was, it really always comes down to what? Yeah. Who's on the bump? Who's going to, well, now it's different. I know it's become more bullpen centric.
I was going to say, I mean, if you take one guy that you couldn't take away from those teams, it would be Mariano. And there's your closer. Michael, I'm glad this at bat was extended, so we got all this out.
So is Flip. That one's right back to the mound, and they get Andujar, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base.
One more thing to say, Michael.
Marlins coming to bat.
Flip Wilson.
Ortega, Realmuto, and Anderson at the top. Starlin Castro, great numbers against Lance Lynn lifetime. Hitting .368, he'll clean up. Batting 5th, Derek Dietrich. Austin Dean in left field, he hit a home run yesterday. He'll bat 6th. Bottom third of the order, Rojas, Sierra, and the pitcher, Richards. Tell us about the pitcher, Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn, 31 years old, is 7 years in the big leagues. He had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. Who hasn't? Seems to be. But here you look right here, .468 ERA. Nice trade so far from the Twins. Of them one bad start in his last start. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. This is what he has: fastball, cutter, curveball. He loves his heater. .245 batting average, is going to be right around 94. He's been good against the Marlins in his career. 4-1 record with a .375 ERA in 8 games. And as I said, solid trade pickup. This was a good move by the Yankee front office. Helped solidify. It's about innings. It's about getting to the bullpen. And between Jay Happ and Lance Lynn, I think they got to be happy with both of them.
That was one surgery you avoided, Al. You did not get Tommy John.
I did not. Mine was all shoulder.
Here's Ortega. 6-game hitting streak, hitting .400 over that time, 10 for 25. Now, to continue that debate we had at the end of the inning, I just got a text from David Wells.
Boomer's tuning in.
Who said, ask yourself this question. Do you want today's best player, Mike Trout, or the best pitcher, Max Scherzer? He said, I'll take Trout.
I'm with you, Boomer. Might be the first time Boomer and I are on the same page. But I'm with you, Boomer. That a boy.
You know what? And I think it's changed a little bit. And I know where David's coming from because of the importance. And here we are, epicenter with the Yankees having 4 or 5 closers, if you will. The starting pitchers, unlike when David was awesome. You talk about innings, fastball, curve, pound the zone.
Pound the zone, strike 3.
Strike 3 right there. Nice little 2-seamer down away, 93 piece. Listen, I think it has evolved. Would I take Mike Trout over Max Scherzer? I don't know. If is it a postseason game? Have Boomer text you back.
That's the thing. If you take for the whole year, I'm taking Mike Trout. Now, if you're taking Game 7 of the World Series, you've got to take the ace. So in a short series, maybe the ace, but overall, give me the everyday player.
Yeah, I think I lean that way marginally.
Way to start a fight up here, Boomer.
But it's a long way from when David pitched and when we were playing, where you signed a David Cone or a Roger Clemens, or you helped El Duque get to the 8th inning and hand it off to Mariano. They're not doing that now.
I've got to make a correction. It's the wrong Boomer. It's Boomer Esiason. It's not Boomer
I
Wells.
like Boomer too. I need to talk to Boomer.
Oh my God!
You got fantasy football coming up. I need to talk to Boomer.
I just have it as Boomer in my phone, just like when yours is Mattingly.
All right.
Mattingly, yeah.
All right. How about this, Boomer? Would you rather have Tom Seaver or Darryl Strawberry? I'm just going Mets. I know he's a Mets fan.
Boomer was the man in Cincinnati when I was with the Reds. Oh, he owned the city.
Who was bigger, you or him?
Oh, I was carrying his bags. You kidding me? I thought he was
Who was
the man.
bigger, Boomer or Pete Rose?
Well, at that time, Boomer was, because Pete was he was in a load of trouble.
I got one to trump both of those guys. Jeff Ruby, if you wanted a free steak.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's paint right there, down the way.
Well, he seems to have a good pop on his fastball, obviously.
Swing and a miss.
It's got to be a good feeling right there, Al, when you can challenge people and throw the ball by them.
First, we'll look at the defense. Brought to you by Geico. Gardner, Hicks, and Stanton left to right. Andujar, Torres, Walker, and Bird third to first. Romine behind the plate. Lynn on the mound.
There are guys, and I know you know this, again, two outs, that there's 97, and you see, you go, God, I saw that all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 92, and you, God, I'm not picking it up. I think a little bit Lance Lynn has that. Slightly across his body, very easy delivery, not much going on. Look, we're looking at, now this is still a good fastball, 94 miles an hour. But it's kind of, there it is. Jump.
I mean, it's still, that ball right there kind of boring in on a right-handed hitter. A lot of movement towards the end. That adds, difficulty to trying to hit it hard.
1-2 on Anderson.
I mean, I'm charting here. He's up to 16 pitches. I haven't gotten a breaking ball yet.
You know, it's funny because last pitch 95 straight, much easier to hit than the 93, 94 before that with the movement down and in. Not all about the velocity. It's the movement and location.
Knocked down by Lynn, scrambles after it, and he throws it over the head of Bird, and that allows Anderson to go to second.
He's messing with his fingers. I hope he doesn't have the I got to throw a 90-mile-an-hour heater over to first, as we saw Betances did last night. A little slider off his glove slows it down. He had plenty of time. Anderson's not the fastest guy. I think it just squirted out his hand.
Yeah, he kind of short-armed it. Look at this. Just.
Oh, that's frustrating right there. You have an easy out to end the first inning.
Well, the only good thing is you look at the scoreboard and you got 2 outs. You're 1 pitch away from getting out of it.
What he didn't do, crow hop, step and throw. You remind a little leaguer. You have plenty of time. Crow hop, step and throw.
That's going to be an E1 on Lynn, runner at second base. And here is Castro, who we showed you when we gave you the lineups, has very good numbers against Lynn. Having another good season. Paul, I remember when he was a Yankee, you liked him as a hitter when he went to right center.
Boy, I tell you what, when he really kept his approach short and up the middle, and he did it a lot with men in scoring position, just a totally different hitter. You know, every once in a while he gets a little long and he wants to hit a ball on the seats, and he's just, You know, that's really not the type of hitter he is. He could be a 300 hitter if he really, really put his mind to it.
Here's what he did with the Yankees. So in 16 he hit 270, and in 17 he hit 300. 16 homers and 63 ribbies. Played in fewer games because of injury, and he made the All-Star team last year, and he was part of the Stanton deal. And one of the reasons he was included in the Stanton deal, the Yankees were trying to lower the value of Stanton's contract. So they gave Castro's contract to the Marlins. And it was a savvy move because it lowers the average annual value of what you have to pay Stanton. Grounded on one hop to Walker. And that'll do it. No runs, no hits, one error, and one man left on base. We'll go to the second inning in Miami. It's 0-0 on Yes. Hybrid, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Who do you think should step into the closer role if Aroldis Chapman is forced to miss significant time, and why? Alex Bayak says, Dellin Betances, exclamation point. He's been lights out ever since his early struggles and has had experience in this role before. He's earned the spot and can definitely handle it. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid. Keep the conversation going. Now, Meredith Barakovich actually has some information on the topic. Meredith.
Well, Michael, Aaron Boone is in no rush to name a closer. Right now, he said it's going to be a combination of Zach Britton, Dellin Betances, and David Robertson. All of those guys have experience. Zach Britton, maybe not the same pitcher that he was last year, still coming back from that Achilles issue. Betances, like you mentioned, has been lights out. But as far as David Robertson is concerned, we learned after the game that he's been suffering from a little bit of tenderness in his shoulder. When I spoke to him in the clubhouse, he did not seem overly concerned. And Aaron Boone actually said Robertson came in today, said he is fine, insisted that he could pitch, but it seems as though the Yankees want to try to stay away from him tonight if possible with that off day tomorrow. But those three guys, a lot of good options, Michael.
Well, absolutely. I thought of it this way. As great as Chapman is, and he's top of the line, this is an injury that they can absorb much easier than losing Aaron Judge, because there is no other Aaron Judge. That one's hit deep to right center field. It's in the park, and the center fielder Sierra makes the play. If there was another Aaron Judge, he wouldn't be sitting on the bench. But you have other legitimate closers in the bullpen. So you lose Chapman, and it shortens the bullpen a little bit. But how much of a drop-off is it if you use Robertson if he's healthy, or Britton?
I agree with you, Michael. I mean, you do have options where, you know, you don't have an option to fill in Aaron Judge over the long haul. I tell you what, I mean, looking at it from up here, I'd love to see Britton in the setup role because he's going to get more appearances, and I think you can get him to give you multiple innings too. You know, 8th, 7th, 8th, and his ball really stopped. And I think he's a guy that, and Chapman, when he didn't throw for 6 or 7 days, I don't think you want to put Britton in that position. He needs to get out there and get innings in.
The one move I would make, I want to get your take out. I don't think I would move Betances. He's so great in the 8th inning. I don't think I would close with him. Even if he's earned it, so to speak, why mess with the best thing you have out there?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think what Aaron Boone and Larry Rothschild has, just what you guys are kicking around right now, they legitimately have 4 closers. Actually, they've all closed, right? Robertson, a little bit with the Yankees when Mo went down a few years ago. The White Sox, Zach Britton, unbelievable year he had a couple years ago. Historic ERA under 1. Certainly Chapman. You throw in Betances. I think my guess would be a lefty-righty depending upon the inning. I think it'll be a Betances, Zach Britton kind of night. But what a luxury to have. I mean, some teams, they barely have a closer.
2-2 to Bird. Swing and a miss. Bird's struggles continue as the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to the bottom of the 2nd inning here in Miami. 0-0 on Yes. Don't pick one out of left field. People's United Bank, member FDIC, and by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on all models. Part of the infield that won 4 World Series with the Yankees. Tino wasn't there in 2009. Marlins CEO Derek Jeter. Tino works for the Yankees now, but visiting his buddy here in Miami and watching Yankees and the Marlins here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Talked to Tino a little bit yesterday, obviously over the weekend too. And he still stays in touch, obviously, Derek. He lived in Tampa for a long time. Jorge's around a lot down here too, so it's good to see those guys still together a lot. I was always behind Tino out in right field. I didn't get to look at him in the face. Different look for me. Always used to looking at number 24 in the back of his hat. He was usually waving me behind his back to go one way or the other. Tino was one of those guys that really understood the little tiny nuances of the game. You know, where the pitch was, what it was back when guys would pitch certain hitters a certain way before all the shifts.
You know, when I see that shot, and now Jeter is a part owner of this team and the CEO, I wonder what he thinks as he sits and watches the game, because he had one of the most famous quotes. He goes, "I don't like to watch baseball unless I'm playing it." You're not playing it anymore, and now you own part of the team.
Yeah, in a sense, I mean, he kind of admitted that you know, the building process now is, you know, what he's interested in. And you know, if you can, you know, find fun in picking out and building a team. You know, we're not talking about this year or next year, but you know, down the road. He's going to get a lot of respect from a lot of people here. Mr. Jeter there. Used to seeing him in Yankee Stadium, not down here in Miami.
What a gentleman.
Oh, the best.
That's his nephew, Jalen. Looks like he switched allegiances to the Marlins. And there's Mrs. Jeter. So let me ask you guys, you both played at such a really high level. Now you're in broadcasting, so I mean, you're working. Is it tough to being the guy that played to watching the game?
Depends on who you are.
Well, I'm asking you. You're you.
Oh, well, geez, I better like it. And between this and the MLB stuff, I generally like it. I like the game because I like the nuance of what we're watching right here. Pitcher, catcher, hitter, umpire. The nuance of what makes this game special. But Derek admitted to that when he took over the team, that he actually admitted that I haven't really watched a whole lot of baseball. So there's some catching up to do.
The 1-2 to Dean. Lined into right field. It's a base hit for Dean.
I played with a lot of guys, I don't know about you, Paul, that actually admitted that, you know, they don't watch the game. They're not that they're not fans of the game, but they played because they were good and they.
Yeah, I grew up with older brothers and grew up playing baseball my whole life and dreaming about playing. And you're right, there are a lot of players in the major leagues that didn't have that kind of, they did other things. They just happened to be good at baseball. But to watch a game, and there's so many things that happens throughout the game, and a big at bat or something that brings me back to thinking about when you were able to play the game, and you're so far beyond it now that you have to go back a ways.
1-0 on Rojas.
I do think, Michael, there's a little period for a lot of players, especially to Paul O'Neill level and a Derek Jeter level, where once you retire 17, 18, 20 years, like there is kind of a breather moment, if you will, to get away from it, because it was truly every part of your life. I don't know how many years that would be for some guys.
Yeah, you know what I do miss, and even walking down on the field today, is the daily preparation. The getting loose, the getting ready, the expectations of what kind of game it's going to be tonight, and being part of that with guys that are going through the same thing. That's what I really miss about playing a game of baseball.
But the good thing, Paul, is that you take that same kind of preparedness up to the booth.
Absolutely, yeah. I never took a scorecard out there. I've never brought a glove up here. It's just the way it is.
Bottom of the second, runner on first, one man out. Miguel Rojas, the shortstop, at the plate. Swing and a miss. Rojas down on strikes. 2 away.
There's that two-seam fastball just coming at him. You see Rojas, and actually a good contact hitter. Look at that late movement there. Just down and away, out in front, about 20 feet in front of him. He decides to swing, and that ball dropped a good foot. Good, nice pitch.
Here's Magneuris Sierra. Slap hitter, tries to use his speed. His approach a lot like Ichiro's. The result's not a lot like Ichiro's.
To this point. Wow.
He wasn't the same guy last night. They had remember there was a little number out front, somebody made it out?
Slap bunt thing. Try it, give it a shot. Look at this. And if I could get my chip on the 18th green to do that, that's good. You can't use the regular dirt in the batter's box. And most of the ballparks have a lot of clay, because they can fill in the holes and keep it a little harder where the spikes don't dig the big holes like you used to see in Little League. But that's why a lot of those choppers this day and age, you don't see the high choppers like you used to in the old days. A lot of the balls just stay down because this dirt, especially right in here, is very soft, and it's kind of pounded down every game. So you don't get these big, gaping, deep holes the hitters dig in.
1-2.
Field. And there's almost no comparison even back in the day when they're immaculate, beautiful, level.
I was walking on the field today and talking to a couple of the Yankee coaches, and they said this is the best playing surface in all of baseball.
Wow. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 3rd. Outside 84 degrees, humidity is 72%, wind 7 miles per hour. It's hot and humid, and some of the reason why the roof is indeed closed. Now, Al, you have a strong belief that it should be open 85 or lower.
Well, listen, I played at the old stadium. There was no roof. The people down here are accustomed to it, and I think at least the old ownership here, it was like the number. The temperature had to be, if it was over 74 degrees, they would close the roof. I always thought we had a little advantage because we practiced here and we were here as a home field. And I just think this is a pretty ballpark. With the roof open, this is a really pretty ballpark with the Miami skyline out there in left field. You can see through that glass there as we pan to the right. I don't know how you guys feel, but it's just, you know, the dome stadium's closed, not nearly as impressive. And the people live here.
They're used to it. Well, very rarely do they open up the dome at Minute Maid Park, and they're going to build a new retractable roof in Arlington. I'm sure they'll keep that closed a lot.
Hey, I've never been in here with the roof open. So, I mean, do the windows stay or do they go?
No, that they open, it slides to the behind us, and it's a pretty view.
So all these windows we're talking about here, that's all gone.
Yeah, they slide or turn, and it's just an open, you know, open feeling. It's got a similar roof structure as Rogers Center in Toronto.
No, Rogers Center kind of spins open. This is more like Safeco.
Well, that's true, but there's a part of Rogers Center that slides, like here at Marlins Park. But yeah, there is a part of the roof there that spins to the side.
Meredith, you want to sit between those two before they come to blows?
I haven't written on them yet.
1-2. Romine down on strikes.
You got two pitchers going at it right now with good heavy sinkers, and then throwing a good changeup with that sinking action.
Great arm speed, Paul. That's the great sign of a good changeup. Mentioned that's his out pitch. Trevor Richards, a 163 batting average. There's a beautiful grip. Oh, wow. That's
really pulls across it. UC and Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Really gets that side spin. Huh?
Ooh, I'd like to see that again, Billy and John Moore. That's a beautiful shot. That's an unusual grip.
There's a strike to Lance Lynn.
Yeah, let's. What? Okay, so that's a circle change, but look, it's a split finger. Man, it's a circle change, but he's.
That's just the force of the ball back in there, I think, because of the arm. But it is a circle change. There's no doubt about it.
All right, so here we got circle here, but then look what he's got. He's got almost off to the center a little bit. He got 9 fingers on the ball.
Is that legal?
I don't think so.
And Lynn down looking. 4 strikeouts for Richards.
I was talking to Don Mattingly a lot before the game, and he was bringing up Richards, saying that if he can command his fastball to both corners of the plate, he can really be tough, because obviously a well above average changeup that he can use, but when he can throw that fastball to both corners, that's when he's at his best.
Brett Gardner takes a strike. Top of the 3rd inning, 0-0. Yankees still looking for their first hit. Marlins have 1 single against Lynn. Another nice crowd here at Marlins Park. They average under 10,000 a game, but yesterday about 26,000. Looks about the same tonight.
About 20,000 Yankee fans.
Pretty much. Strike.
Do you have spring training with the Yankees in Fort Lauderdale before they moved to?
I did.
Yeah.
Back when it was at a resort in Lauderdale, and then he moved over to Tampa.
Two and 2 on Gardner. Gardner with a fly ball left in the 1st inning.
You see what happens when a guy with a good changeup gets off to a good start. You're seeing a lot of fastballs taken because hitters got that changeup in the back of their mind, and then you see still out in front of the changeup a little bit.
Fly ball, shallow right. Castro is there, calling the catch, and the Yankees go down in order. And Richards has retired 8 in a row. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Played for the Marlins. And as he's rounding third, his third base coach, Bo Porter, so he was doing the Stanton move before Stanton. The fake handoff. So Boone going yard. And did Stanton pick that up from watching grainy old photos of Boone? Here's Trevor Richards. There's a strike. So here's Boone getting the handoff. Now a running back that's much bigger, Stanton got the handoff.
I tell you what, if I got to tackle one of them, I'm taking the guy on the left. You can have the guy on the right there, Al.
Go for the legs. Stanton, didn't he have a shot to go to UCLA or something like that out of high school for football? Was he one of those guys?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, he looks like a tight end.
Top of the third inning at Fenway Park, and the Indians lead the Red Sox 2-1. That's a weak hack there by Richards as he's down on strikes. Fifth strikeout for Lynn.
There's your National League Baseball.
Get a free out here or there?
Free out. You might only get 3 strikeouts for the night. It's the pitcher.
Looks good, the box score, though.
I remember in '97 against Cody, when I was with the Marlins, and he got mad at me because I threw him a curveball.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you got to throw me a fastball. I said, that might be my only strikeout. I got to throw you a curveball from my head.
Cody was a lefty, too.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it was unfair.
There's a strike.
Boy, it's so enjoyable to watch pitchers just, getting the ball and throwing strikes, huh?
Grounded to first. It's a foul ball. Angel Hernandez said foul ball. Very close.
He's got a good view. Yeah, just outside of the bag as it rolled over.
I think they took Ortega's bat away.
Well, it sounded like he broke it. Got to get a new one out there, get it all sprayed up, sticky. That didn't sound too good.
One and two. Early today at about, I'd say 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Alex Rodriguez was on the field working with Miguel Andujar, going through some of the finer points of playing third base. And Alex, uniform pants, the blue socks, had a Yankee top on, and he actually works for the Yankees, so I'm sure that was one of the assignments. And this was A-Rod doing some teaching, and A-Rod spoke with Meredith.
Well, I actually spoke to Miguel Andujar about what they were working on, and he said it was more about tweaking his routine a little bit to make it more game speed. He felt as though if he could do it more game speed, it would translate better. There would maybe be more consistency, fewer mistakes. Overall, Andujar feels as though he's made significant strides since the beginning of the season, but acknowledged to me that he still has work that he can do, and he diligently continues to work. Overall, he called that session productive. And on top of that, Michael, he also revealed that he watches not only video of himself at third base, seeing what he can do differently as far as footwork and throwing are concerned, but he also watches other third basemen around the league that he likes their game and really thinks defensively they do a solid job, to see what they're doing and whether or not he can take any of those things and translate them to his game to be a little bit better at the hot corner.
Well, you know what? If he becomes proficient defensively, he's going to be one of the best players in the game. I mean, that's how good a hitter he is. So if he can tighten it up defensively, that's the next step. And a walk to Ortega. Al, who do you think the best defensive third baseman is? Is it Arenado?
Nolan Arenado's there. No doubt.
The kid in Oakland's really good.
He is. Chapman's done an excellent job. Fantastic arm. You talk about velo across the diamond, but Nolan Arenado, I think he always gets underplayed, or at least recognition-wise, because he plays in Colorado. The offensive numbers are always viewed as skewed, but that's a special third baseman there. He's up there with, I mean, some of the greats, actually, metric-wise.
I was surprised the other day that Adrian Beltre, who was an outstanding third baseman, he said that the kid in Oakland, Chapman, is better than he was at that age.
Yeah, I mean, I love his arm. You talk about a guy that can make up a lot of ground for misplayed balls.
And Andujar mentioned that Beltre was his favorite player growing up. Also mentioned Arenado as people that he looked at.
Watching that footage of Alex working with Andujar, you know, it's a constant learning, teaching experience. No matter what level, no matter where you are, a rookie, 5 years, 10 years in the big leagues, you know, you get a chance to have that little edge, modify your game, improve it every day.
They get the force at second as Real Muto reaches first on the fielder's choice.
For a catcher, JT Real Muto can scoot down the line. You know, talk about a multi-sport high school athlete, talking about Stanton in high school. Football, basketball, baseball, had some scholarships. I know I left that hanging, Michael. UCLA, USC.
Did you know, Al, that he went to Verdugo Hills High School for the first 2 years and then Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks the last 2 years?
And I've read enough stories about him and saying that he may have picked the worst of the three sports coming out of high school.
Grounded in the hole. Gleyber Torres fires the first and gets Anderson. Boy, can he flash the leather at short. Remember, he's converted to a second baseman. He is a shortstop.
Watching, with Didi down, watching Gleyber Torres, that's what he was coming up through the minor leagues with the Cubs. Just smooth. There's no hesitation. There was no doubt, no indecisive kind of, do I go to second or first? Look at Lance Lynn, been in the big leagues a long time. He's been impressive. I know it's only been a couple days that we've been watching at the big league level, but Gleyber Torres at shortstop. Wow.
And he has a great arm. You could just see how much he got on that throw, moving away from the throw. He can really be a good shortstop.
Yeah, it's amazing how much your defensive skills show up at shortstop, and you don't notice them nearly as much at second base.
Stanton grounds it foul. Judge and Stanton, both three-sport athletes. Judge at Linden. There's the basketball aspect. Football. And baseball. He did okay. And Stan actually received scholarship offers to play football at UCLA, UNLV, and USC. Audi scoreboard, 0-0. Two and two. You wonder how much pressure that Stanton's putting on himself to hit one out here. Because I think it would mean a great deal to him to hit his 300th home run in this ballpark. Came close last night. 2-2. 3-2. Fourth inning, 0-0. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Stanton down on strikes.
These Yankee hitters certainly know what Trevor Richards is all about with that changeup, talking about in the scouting report. It is his out pitch. Got to 3-2. With a previous pitch was a fastball right down the plate. Just drops off the table, and it looks like a heater, except it's 8-10 miles an hour slower. There's the circle change. Stays inside the ball. What's called pronating your arm. Good high to low. Tough pitch.
Did you see that good high to low there, Mike?
I did.
And the pronation.
You lost me on that.
Paul, you probably pitched in high school, didn't you?
I did.
Pitched in the big leagues.
I chucked it in there a few times.
1-1 on hits. Yankees still looking for their first hit. One out in the fourth. Two and one.
So about now, all right, we go second time through the order. Gardner, Stanton, now Hicks. Are you sitting on a pitch? Are you mindful of the changeup?
I mean, there are certain guys through the lineup that do sit on pitches. I was always a guy that tried to look out over the plate, dead fastball, and adjust everything else. But like I said, the more you see that changeup, the more you're going to start looking up in the strike zone, and because anything, belled high below, changeup wise, is going to end up in the dirt, and you start to read that as a hitter. But he's got a good one tonight, and he's able so far to throw it for a strike and throw it intentionally out of the strike zone for the swing and miss.
Now, Al, were you shocked that over the weekend Paul O'Neill was so dedicated to his process that he sat fastball against Wakefield?
Yes, it's true.
Yep.
I heard that. I'm telling you, it's just habit. And I told Mike, well, I got one my whole career off of it, hit in left center field.
One heater or one home run?
One fastball.
And you hit it?
Yeah, hit it in the left center field. I was looking for it. Yeah, I hit some knuckleballs. I adjusted to them, but you know what? If you're going to change your whole approach for a one-day thing against a knuckleball, it made no sense to me. You just stick with the same approach and adjust.
even that you're going to see a 60-mile-an-hour floater 80% of the time?
Maybe I would have been a better hitter. I don't know.
How did you do against him?
I actually hit him pretty well.
Yeah, you hit 300 big ones.
Strawberry used to kill him.
Foul back here and out of play. And it's strange because when they tell you short and quick to the ball is effective against knuckleballers, and Strawberry was quick, but he had a long swing, which I guess stayed in the strike zone a long time.
Aaron Boone hit him well too.
At least once. You know who has a great knuckleball now, Al? Eric Kratz, former Yankee. He's backup catcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's pitched in a couple of games, and no one can hit him.
Knuckleball?
Yeah. And like a couple of his teammates said, when he's done with catching, I think he's like 37, 38, he can actually be a knuckleball pitcher if he wants. That's how good he is.
I was going to say, when he's not playing, put him in the pen.
Well, they kind of do in blowout games to save, you know, relievers. That's a big thing this year, using position players.
Because having 12 and 13 pitchers isn't enough.
Not enough. Not when their starters go 4.
I thought about that last night. The Marlins, 13 or 8 relievers. I guess the Yankees do too, huh? No, 12 or 7.
1-2. Swing and a miss, and Duhart down on strikes.
Richards continues to do the same thing, get ahead in the count, and then use that changeup to polish guys off. Boy, he hadn't made a mistake with it yet.
Used to hear these stories about Yogi and Phil Rizzuto that during the offseason, because baseball players didn't make the money they make now, that they would work in men's clothing stores, bowling alleys to earn extra money. Well, Richards did that this year. He's been a minor leaguer forever. They make $7,500 a year. That one is drilled to right field and off the glove of Ortega and rolls to the wall. Hicks is rounding third. He's coming home, and he will make it. It's an RBI double for Walker, who continues to rake 1-0 Yanks.
You said it, Michael. He has been just a godsend here lately for the Yankees. The last month or so, he has been one of the better hitters, and he continues to have big at-bats. A couple yesterday. Another line drive of these balls right here. You start stutter stepping, you think that guy might catch it in and out. What an effort by Ortega. Good read by Hicks. Yankees up 1-0.
Now, I don't know if people realize this, Paul. He started off terribly, Walker. First 55 games hitting 185. But coming into this game, last 31 games, he's a 296 hitter.
Yeah.
And now with that double, it's 300 and 100 at bats. That one's drilled down the left field line and foul off the bat of Torres.
No doubt about the extended playing time is really helping him get those extra at bats. But Michael, you remember when he started to just turn around? What happened? He was hitting everything to left field. He was staying in, but now he's so comfortable that he's able to read the ball, and he's using the whole field and pulling the baseball too.
And it does show you the value of a spring training, because he didn't have one. Neither did Lance Lynn. And those guys that did not sign right away and had their own spring training, they got off to slow starts. The 0-1.
Well, can you say enough about getting consistent playing time? Now with Didi down, you talk about who's picking up the slack, who will help. Obviously, the Yankees are banged up a little bit. Neil Walker's lifetime 270 hitter in the big league since 2009. Back in the days with the Pirates.
1-2. And to the Yankees' credit, he was floundering, and they never even thought about giving up on him. They just knew it was in there. Aaron Boone said he's hit for too long, but all of a sudden not hit. So the Yankees finally break through against Richards. A walk and then a 2-out double off the glove of a diving Ortega, and the Yankees up 1-0. Anyway, to finish the story about Richards, people in the minors don't make any money. $7,500 a year he was making. So this past offseason, he was a substitute teacher in his hometown of Milwaukee. The year before that, he worked at Miller Coors Brewery in Milwaukee just to earn extra money, pay some bills. One-two. Swing and a miss. Torres down on strike. So 3 strikeouts for Richards, but the Yankees break through with the Walker double, and they strand 1. Scouting report on Starlin.
Well, he is Miami's hit leader with 139, which ranks 6th in the National League, and he does miss New York, no doubt about it. During his 2 seasons as a Yankee, he had over 315 with 25 home runs in 135 games. And is he trade bait? He's scheduled to make $11 million next year with a team option for $16 million in 2020. So big decision for the Marlins.
Outing scoreboard, 1-0 Yankees now here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It also had a sting. Castro, you know, he got traded from the Cubs right before they won the World Series. And then the Yankees went to the 7th game of the ALCS last year, and he got traded right after that, where people think there are great things on the horizon for the Yanks. Deep fly ball to right field. Going back Stanton, and he makes the play on the warning track to retire Castro.
Just a big ballpark here, Michael. That ball is in the seats in New York. Castro's rounding the bases. Neil Walker's hit a couple balls that would have been in the seats. Stanton yesterday, if you think about it, hitting the wall in left field. Just a big ballpark that plays long, especially with this roof closed and the air conditioning on.
Do you change approach at all when you're in a certain ballpark, did you hit differently at Fenway and try to hit that wall?
You know what? It's in the back of your mind, but again, you don't change what you do every day to try to do something for one series or not.
Deep fly ball down the left field line. Long run for Gardner. He can't get there, and it bounces up against the wall as Dietrich gets himself a double.
Well, Brett Gardner went a long way to try to make this play. Ball just hit too hard. Again, as a lefty, you get a ball. You see that ball's up in the strike zone, so it loses its sink. It just kind of has a tail. Much easier pitch to hit. Brett Gardner just could not get there. He went a long way.
To your point about as a hitter. Now Yankees, that's 344 down the left field line. Yankee Stadium's 320.
No,
314.
314.
Yeah.
So the measure of Brett Gardner, night in, night out, 81 games, is a certain amount of steps, right?
You sure?
So
that's why you do come out and take a lot of fly balls in visiting ballparks, to find out how many steps it is on the warning track, to find out where you play, how much foul territory you have to cover. So, there are some adjustments. Obviously, some ballparks harder than others.
And I wonder, because I know this is a thing of the past, there's very few organizations that do that as far as infield, outfield. Can you still get that off the bat from somebody behind second base during a batting practice?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, Lee Mazzilli used to hit tons of fly balls and ground balls, but nothing like taking the ball off the bat from a hitter, because that's where you get your jumps, and we've said it many times. Most of the time, close plays that you just get to or don't get to is within the first couple steps, the break that you get off the bat.
Two and one on Austin Dean. Three and one.
You see now Lance Lynn trying to mix in some more off-speed pitches. He throws a cutter and occasional curveball, as we saw mostly through the first 3 innings. It was predominantly all fastballs. Young hitter Austin Dean took a first pitch fastball home run last night off of Tanaka.
3 and 2. Line drive, base hit. Holding up at second was Dietrich. Let's see if they try to score him. No, they won't. He will stop at third as the throw comes into Bird. So Dean hit it on the screws. He's 2 for 2 against Lynn.
Dean has had some good at-bats in this series. Recently hot, no doubt about it. Kind of a break. Dietrich had to wait and see if this ball gets through. Still gives Lynn an opportunity to possibly get a ground ball double play. Try to save a run.
Yeah, just not knowing a whole lot about Austin Dean, but watching last night, could handle the fastball. And here 2 singles off of Lance Lynn, both on heaters. It's a pretty good fastball, inner third, 94, going up the middle.
Even though they didn't score a run there, the Marlins were 0 for 11, including last night with runners in scoring position in this series. They broke that up last night, still didn't score a run. They're looking out over there. This is where we had all our issues last night. The 9th inning, 11th inning, couldn't score. Nobody out, man, on third.
1-1 on Rojas. Two and one.
Haven't watched Lance Lynn enough, but now it's getting to the part in the game. You're 64 pitches in. You predominantly have shown the Marlin hitters a lot of fastballs. Throw something off speed, downward action. I know, Paul, you mentioned you know most hitters never get off the heater, but when you start getting a little deeper into the game, guys start to see release point. Lance Lynn's got that sneaky fastball that jumps on you. Mix in a few more breaking balls. Well, looks like a heater in.
Popped up. That will not get a runner in. Walker makes the play for the second out.
Such big outs for a pitcher. Sorry, Michael, but I tell you what, the Marlins have all kind of issues this series trying to get runs in. You just got to really, you got to get fired up as a pitcher here. That you've saved that.
Watch here, Paulie. And I'm talking about, here Major League. He's predominantly been fastball. That's a 2-1 heater in on his hands. 94. All he saw heater, fastball, fastball, fastball. Got him in a 2-1 count, and trust in the fastball.
Yeah. There's more location. It's all about getting that ball in. You want to keep the ball in the infield. There's a few ways you can do it. You can sink it away, or you can jam a hitter. And they jammed him there where he couldn't get his hands through to get it to the outfield.
Here's Sierra. He struck out in the second inning. First and third, now 2 outs. Yankees lead 1-0. Bottom of the fourth. Fouled away, 0-1.
Well, here we go, right here with 88.8%, highest in MLB with four-seamers, sinkers, and cutters. So obviously it's not just the four-seamer. We're watching tonight, two-seam, four-seam, velocity varying right around that 92, 94 mark. And he does throw a cutter, which is a little bit off your best four-seam fastball velocity. Highest in baseball. So, in a day and age where we're watching a lot of guys that throw hard, throwing a lot of curves, sliders off speed, here you got Lance Lynn, more than serviceable, doing a good job throwing mostly fastballs.
If you watch how he uses it, and that was broken down into 3 fastballs. The cutter is going to be low 90s in on lefties. The sinker is going to be 93, 94, which kind of sinks away, and then he'll be at 95 with his four-seamer.
1-2 on Sierra. Well, this has certainly been an issue, as Paul mentioned, in this short series. Last night in the 9th inning, first and third, nobody out, they don't score. Then in the 11th inning, bases loaded, nobody out, they don't score. And now first and third, 1 out. And now it's 2 outs after the foul ball by Rojas, and 1 strike away, and Lynn will be out of it. Werner goes, fouled away. So Dean was going.
Boy, he fouled off a tough pitch right there. 96 right under your hands. So you gotta stand straight up just to try to foul this ball off.
That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. The Fast Pitch Speed Analytics, sponsored by Fios by Verizon. Swing and a miss. And again, the Marlins don't get the big hit as Sierra strikes out. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We'll go to the 5th. Yankees trying to win this game to keep pace with the Red Sox. So right now, 7 games in the loss column, 8 in the standings. Yankees have played 2 fewer games than the Red Sox. They'll make up one of those games with a doubleheader on Saturday. So Red Sox 88 and 39. Greg Bird will lead off the 5th inning against Trevor Richards. Yankees finally got to him for a run in the 4th, 1-0 Yanks. 1-0. GMC scoreboard 1-1-1 for the Yankees, 0-3-0 for Miami.
2-2 game, bottom of the 4th. The Red Sox in Cleveland.
What was this conversation about?
You know, I love that last pitch from Lance Lynn. It was curveball. And if there's somebody, I love Austin Romine. You know, there's talk of, you know, framing and all of the metrics of a catcher. How about a guy who really understands every pitcher on his staff and what their strengths and weaknesses are and how to go about it, and to convince your pitchers to believe in him as calling a game? It's big. It has a lot of influence.
Three and one on Bird. Bird 2 for his last 24. There's a strike, 3-2. Did you see this as often when you played, Paul? 3-1 breaking balls?
No.
I mean, you built to a 3-1 count. You expected a fastball.
Yes.
That was a change right there on 3-1. That one's off of Richards. And he gets Bird. It's amazing, Al, how the game has changed.
But however, Michael, Trevor Richards, here's a guy that sits right at 90 miles an hour. He has been getting these Yankee hitters out in front with that changeup. That's his pitch. His out pitch is the changeup.
Now they're running out to the mound, see if he's okay. He was hit with that comebacker.
Another changeup. 3-1 changeup, 3-2 changeup. Oh, back of the calf. He'll be all right. I mean, it's a nice story. I know you mentioned about Trevor Richards last year and some of his off-season jobs. Here's a guy who went to Drury University in Springfield, Missouri. 4 years of college. Didn't get drafted. He was playing in the Frontier League, which is an independent league in the Midwest. The Marlins scout who came to scout other pitchers, 2 other pitchers, actually saw him pitching in the game. His name is David Espinoza, the Marlins scout, and saw him and rated his changeup. The ratings of scouts is 2 to 8.
Right, or 20 to 80.
20 to 80, thank you. And they rated his changeup in 80.
80 being the best.
Yes, the Batavia New York Penn League team had a pitcher go down, and they signed him. No signing bonus, and went to the New York Penn League. This was in end of 16. He pitched last year, and here he is in the big leagues.
Now, I mentioned this earlier about him that, he worked during the offseason. And in his minor league seasons, I repeat, he was making $7,500 a year. $7,500. How did you live in the minor leagues making that kind of money? Well, how'd you eat, Paul?
I worked in the sporting goods my first couple of years in the off season.
So there's no way you could have lived just on the money you made from baseball?
No, absolutely not, because you would sign for what you thought was a big bonus when you were 18 years old, but that usually went away with the first car you bought. That powder blue Firebird that I purchased.
Now the first round draft picks now get so much money. You could live on that. But if you're a late pick, like in the 20th round, and you're making $7,500, you work.
It's the opportunity to have that carrot in front of you of the major leagues, the possibility. And they're always, is that 1 in a million? The Mike Piazza, they went in the 50-something round and ends up in the Hall of Fame. So it's that opportunity. And believe me, when the lower round picks, they don't get the same chances. The high picks get the first dibs, and then you just have to outwork people and till you get a chance.
What round were you?
Third
round.
But I remember first year making $600 a month. Wow. And that's not 12 months a year. That's the months that you're playing.
Mine was $700.
Yeah.
So you work in the wintertime, Michael.
Right, but that would be when you'd be working out and honing your craft. I mean, that's what players do now.
I worked in Sears Sporting Goods.
Did you do well? Did you sell a lot?
Yeah, it was a commission job. Sold a lot of treadmills and bikes.
People must have just said, fine, I'll buy it. Stop talking to me.
That's back in the day where they had that leather belt thing that just shook on you and made you lose all the weight.
Ortega tried to make the catch. He could not.
Oh, I made a lot of commission on that one.
Oh, my goodness.
A good effort right here, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like right at the end. It's the best way to do it as an outfielder is to slide in. You get a chance to catch it and keep yourself from crashing into the wall.
Paul, can you imagine somebody walking into Sears Sporting Goods? They want wristbands, and Al talks him into like an exercise bike just to stop him from talking.
Going home with a Peloton. Wow.
That one is looped right side. Again, it will fall untouched.
Sears and Ocean County Mall, New Jersey.
If you didn't have so much pride and had to work in the sporting goods, you could have gone to like the washer and dryers and made a lot more commission.
TVs.
Yeah. Black and whites.
Big commission, 7%.
Nice. That's what agents get.
I mean, really, if I could get my hands on a flux capacitor and go back in time, I would go to Sears. 2-2. Strike three. Lynn down looking as the Yankees go down in order here in the fifth. 4.5 in the books. We're halfway through. It is 1-0 Yankees.
been a fastball. Cuts a little bit, two seam, mostly four seam. There's a little cutter. He had a couple little foul nick strikeouts. Austin Romine holding on to a good sink right there. He has one of his strikeouts on a curveball. But you see right there, he's just pounding the zone, getting ahead. See a few more curveballs. Let's see if as he gets into midway through this game, 70 pitches into it, his last pitch was a strikeout to Sierra on a curveball.
GMC scoreboard, 1-0 Yankees over the Marlins. A lot of Yankee fans, and as we mentioned, I mean, a great majority of the fans in this ballpark are rooting for the Yankees, and you could hear it in the big moments last night. You can hear it tonight as well.
I'll tell you, Michael, we spend a lot of time down here in South Florida, and there are so many Yankee fans. It's amazing how much you just walk into restaurants, people talk about the Yankees. Manhattan South, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
Love it.
Here's Trevor Richards, 9-1-2 in the Marlins order against Lance Lynn.
Lynn is throwing so well, but the Yankee offense is making it tough. 1-run lead. You definitely have to pitch a little different than if you got a big spread, huh?
Well, this is identical of what we saw last night. The Yankees scored in the 4th inning. In the 5th inning, Austin Dean led off the inning with a first pitch off of Tanaka and a solo home run to left. You can't say enough about having some breathing room. Not every pitch is squeeze a little tighter, trying to hit the exact spot. You get those 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 counts with a little breather. All right, not that I want to give up a home run here, but go ahead. Outer third, go ahead and hit it.
Grounded and grabbed by Bird. He flips to Lynn. One away here in the 5th.
You know, Al, it comes to mind, and what you said to me was, you know, really interesting. Do you ever change your approach as a hitter? You know, say to the Green Monster or something like that. And as a pitcher, you have to be much more apt to challenge people in a ballpark like this. You know, go ahead, hit it 400 feet. It's going to get caught. Where, you know, if you make a mistake in Yankee Stadium, usually costs you runs.
You alluded to it earlier in the game. There was a couple balls that at Yankee Stadium probably would have been out. We saw one to left field, Gardner, and one to right field off a Yankee bat. Take advantage. And where's the take advantage? Especially in this day and age with launch angle, and most guys don't go the other way. Even guys that are the 10 to 12 home run guy. Go outer third.
Sure.
I'll never forget one of my spring trainings, the late Catfish Hunter. His thing was a cutter up and away. And he said, I'd let him just hit long, lazy fly balls, especially in the old Yankee Stadium. That left center was like 430. And he kind of got me thinking, like, you're in a bad count. Lay it outer third somewhere, even if it's juicy, and let him go the other way. You got a big stadium.
Sure.
But the game's different now.
It is different.
I mean, they still might try to pull that pitch.
Well, I mean, listen, up and away is not the ideal spot, but if you're going away and he's pulling the ball, I'm going to get more rollovers or long, deep fly balls than you will home runs if they're pulling it.
2-1 on Ortega. Ortega's 0 for 1 with a walk.
Well, that was one of the better cutters you've seen all day. The nasty just ended up right on the inside corner, but just late action.
Line drive, past it, diving Walker into right field.
Must be such a difficult pitch to throw because, again, that's supposed to be the same pitch, but that one didn't quite have the movement towards the end. Gives the hitter an opportunity to get the barrel to the baseball and hammers one.
And location, Paul. Look at that. That's right down the middle center cut.
It just didn't break to the inside corner.
Well, I haven't paid that much close attention to Lance Lynn in his 8 years in the big leagues, but it kind of it surprised me a little bit. I don't know about you, Paul, but we showed it, the statistic, 88.8% fastballs. I mean, it will make his life, big league pitching life, so much easier if he could come up and just spin a 12, 14% of the time, 15% of the time. It doesn't have to be a lot. He is primarily 80 pitches into this game, other than 5 or 6 off-speed pitches. Not even. I actually have him for four breaking balls.
Yeah,
Ortega's single extends his hitting streak to 7 straight, new career high.
Michael, I got him for 6 over here.
Do you?
Yeah. Chart. Keeping him on my toes and hands.
Do pitchers chart anymore in the dugouts?
I don't think so.
Because all the information's coming through computers?
Wow, that's a great question, Michael. That really took me back. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think they do in the big leagues. I think in the minor leagues they do. Make the next day pitcher pay attention.
Is that what it was about?
Mostly, I
Being
think.
locked in?
Even the end of my career, I think when I left the Mets, my last year, I don't think I charted. I went to the Marlins, and I came back, and Mel Stottlemyre was the pitching coach, and we were still charting. Mel had us chart.
Yeah, for folks at home that wonder what we're talking about, it's next day's pitcher was charting on the bench. You know, every pitch, breaking ball, fastball against the hitters, and then, the theory was it locks you in to get ready for tomorrow's start.
And a 4-6-3 double play as we are through 5, and the Yankees lead this one 1-0. Right here, it's 1-0 Yankees as we go to the 6th inning. 1-0 over the Marlins. Top of the order against Trevor Richards, who has certainly pitched well. It'll be Gardner, Stanton, and Hicks.
Top of the order, 3rd time around. You're Aaron Boone thinking, the offense has got to come through with a big inning here before this series. Obviously a short 2-game series, but so far, runs at a premium in this place.
Now, what do you make of this, Al? Jack Curry just texted me that in the last episode of our award-winning show, Homegrown, which shows AAA up to the major leagues, they do such a great job. They showed a pitcher charting for the next day, Nestor Cortez. So why would they do it in the minors and no longer in the majors?
Because you can.
What do you mean? Because you can.
The big league guys, it's different. You could do some managers allow the starting pitcher to
fly ahead,
either fly ahead or in the training room or breaking ball down the way. Looks outside corner slightly. Bill Miller, home plate umpire. Listen, I think in the minor leagues, there's more control. Bottom line.
Looped into left field. That's going to dunk in for a base hit for Gardner.
Good job by Brett Gardner to recover after that ball before. Breaking ball never touched the outside corner, but he went out. And because that was called, you got to go out and protect that. And he just kind of flipped this to left field. Same circle change. But again, third time around, you've seen it enough. Just kind of feel it out there to left field.
Here's Stanton. He has walked and struck out.
You feeling number 300 here, Michael?
You know what? I am feeling it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just told the truck.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see if I'm right. Are you feeling it?
I got the same feeling you do that something might happen.
Are you ready, Mike?
I'm ready, yeah. One, 1-2.
Starting to lose that feeling, though, Mike.
The 1-0 count looked a lot better than the 1-2.
You know what? If he does it, I called him. And if he doesn't, you're wrong, Mike.
That's a good way to live. Just getting back, Gardner goes in standing. Two and two.
Well, is that the show fastball in? Here comes a changeup.
I was going to say it's almost guaranteed you're going to see two changeups here after a ball up and in. Try to get you off the plate.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not.
There was a changeup, and let's see. That's what happens when you're that strong. You can stop that bat head before it crosses home plate.
He's getting another one.
Oh, yeah.
That's his pitch. And here he is midway through the game. Tight ball game.
If you're Brett Gardner, you got to think changeup too. Running the bases, possibly taking an opportunity to go.
Swing and a miss. Throw to second. And Gardner's in there with the stolen base. So Stanton strikes out. Our prognostication wrong.
Smart base running by Brett Gardner. You got to think 3-2 changeup, probably down in the dirt. Good pitch to run on.
We said it last night. 12th stolen base last night. 13 stolen bases now, with 1 caught stealing. Great ratio.
So here's Hicks. He scored the only run in the game. After he walked, he scored on Walker's double. That was in the 4th inning. And he takes a strike from Richards.
Well, that's no secret. Sometimes you don't even have to talk to the umpire to let him know you don't agree with the call. Got to take a little extra time. The body language.
Little timing daylight play from Miguel Rojas and Trevor Richards. Keeping them close. You see, not very far. Brett Gardner isn't. That's a timing play. They know ahead of time. It's either eye contact, where you put your glove. Usually comes from the shortstop. Just to keep the runner from not getting a huge secondary lead.
The 0-1 is not made as they chase Gardner back. And you know it's a pro-Yankee crowd because they're chanting balk on a Marlins pitcher.
Inside move, too. He looked forward, had something to go on. Gardner looked a little runnerish.
Jumpy.
1-1. Pickoff is on. Diving back is Gardner.
He's doing his job. If nothing else, you get the pitcher to think about something other than the hitter, and his concentration a little off. Maybe leaves this changeup up in the zone for Aaron Hicks. He doesn't have a big lead.
A lot of times as a runner, you want to start off with a very short lead and then try to walk into it because you'll get your best jump that way. And it looks like he's trying to time him a little bit. Figure as smart as Brett Gardner is, as long as he's been around, the more throws he draws back there, the more attention. Might launch one into center field.
Three and one, and Duhar is on deck. Well, his first 12 starts this year, Richards had a 5.24 ERA. Coming to this one, last 6 games, 2.67. And he's pitching more like he's pitched in the most recent 6 starts here tonight. That one is ripped into right field and is going to dunk in for a base hit. Gardner had a hold up. Hicks is going to go to second. Good base running as the throw came all the way home. And the Yankees have runners on second and third with 1 out.
This is where, if you're an outfielder, you have to know the situation. He kind of did a good job by deking him. Brett Gardner, you know, you peek and see if he is going, if he got a shot. If not, make sure you hit the cutoff man, because Aaron Hicks gets a good read on this high throw. Just cruises on into second. Wow.
First thing Gardner did was turn and point toward Hicks, knowing that was a good bit of base running. Juan Nieves, the pitching coach, comes out and talks with Trevor Richards.
Inexperienced team, young team, Marlins obviously, but is that something that is obvious? I don't care whether you're a minor league guy, you're rookie in the big leagues. You know, first and third, 1 out in a 1-0 game. Hit the cutoff man. Oh, you still got a chance of 1 out and put double play in order.
Yeah, your chances of throwing Brett Gardner out, if he didn't hesitate, are slim and none anyway. Your job right now, that's a single. You don't pull it into a double by airmailing the cutoff man. And these are the growing pains, no doubt about it, of young teams wanting to show how good your arm is. It's how accurate your arm is and how quick you get rid of the baseball.
Now to bring up Andujar, give us a look at the league leaders, brought to you by your local Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Major League rookie RBI leaders this season. Andujar's first, Brian Anderson, the Marlins second, followed closely by Gleyber Torres third.
He had 2 of these opportunities last night. First time nothing, then he had the big one in the 12th inning where he got the runner in.
Well, they're going to give up a run with a ground ball to short or second. A ground ball to the corners, they have a chance to come home to get Gardner. So you don't bring the infield in with runners on second and third, because the ball squeezes through. That's 2 runs. 2-0 on Andujar, who was 0 for 2 tonight.
This is a set play over there. Phil Nevin will tell Brett Gardner, you're either going on contact, see the ball through, make sure you tag anything in the outfield.
And they're going to intentionally walk him and take their chance with Walker.
I would imagine that Aaron Boone is okay with this. One of your hotter hitters, Neil Walker, with a big opportunity here now with bases loaded.
The lefty, Jarlin Garcia, is going to be called on by Mattingly. And what he wants to do is turn Walker around to his weaker side, the right side. So Mattingly signals for Garcia, and Garcia comes into a mess. Bases loaded, 1 out. Mattingly's called to the bullpen, brought to you by your Tri-Accurate dealer. Richards Knight is done. And a third. Ran into big trouble here in the 6th inning. It's still 1-0 Yankees lead, and they call on Jarlin Garcia, one of the 2 lefties in the bullpen, to turn the red-hot Neil Walker around to his weaker side. So Garcia has started 6 games. Overall, this is his 20th appearance. And those are his numbers.
Not great. An ERA over 5.
Well, they play Walker to pull with 3 infielders on the left side. And a strike.
It's funny, I used to talk to Bernie Williams all the time. You know, he could be hot as a left-handed hitter, and I said, does it usually end up with your hot on both sides? And he said, not necessarily. You compete is like night and day as soon as you turn around and hit from the other side. Neil Walker's had such good at-bats left-handed in this series.
Fly ball, deep center. Sierra is there. He'll make the play. Tagging is Gardner. He scores. Moving to third is Hicks. Throw cut off by Rojas. So a sac fly for Walker. He's now driven in both runs. 2-0 Yanks.
It's amazing to me. I mean, Neil Walker right now is the guy that you want in the plate. Could you imagine saying that in late April, Michael?
No.
So he has really turned this year around. A good at bat.
Well, that's the 48th sac fly by the Yankees, and that's the most in the majors. And 3 of the top 4 are teams that look like they're going to the playoffs, and the Pirates certainly battling.
Well, not his fault, Richard. He did a good job. The ball well tonight. Use a changeup.
Nine strikeouts from Trevor Richards. 5 in the 3rd innings.
Fly ball, right field. Ortega toward the line, and he'll get there to make the play. So the Yankees get a run on 2 hits, 2 men left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning in Miami. It's 2-0 Yankees.
of the week. And it would be, is it 1, Giancarlo Stanton, 2, Miguel Andujar, 3, your choice, Paul.
I'm going for Neil Walker. I don't know though. Stanton's had pretty good a couple of weeks too.
Al, I was so impressed with that. You heard there's a chance Alex Trebek is going to retire from hosting Jeopardy.
Really?
This could be you.
Could be another SNL skit with Sean Connery. That's got to be one of the funnier SNLs.
Here's Brian Anderson against Lance Lynn. It is 2-0 Yankees, bottom of the 6th. And a strike. Paul, any quicker than 2 hours today?
Yes, much better.
Really?
Today. Yeah.
What's the difference?
We took the turnpike and just, I don't know. It's just a better day so far.
All right, good.
Brown bagged it, brought my lunch. Was a little disappointed and wasn't quite up to par with what you get at Yankee Stadium.
Boy, did you downsell that? A little disappointed?
Not bragging or anything about the boys back in New York.
Yeah, you got it pretty good there, Paul.
Oh, place is awesome, isn't it?
And the 1-2 to Anderson. Lynn still throwing hard, 2-2.
You know, Mike, I just looked up and I'm like, whoa, a bird went flying by here. So a bird's caged in here today. There goes another one. And I'm thinking, you know, this afternoon, things looking at the ocean and palm trees, and now he's living in steel girders up there.
That one is wrapped into center field, a base hit for Anderson. So he picks up a leadoff single here in the 6th.
Again, not a bad pitch. The ball jammed in, but he stayed through it, drove it up the middle. The ball in on his hands on the label.
Just up enough, right? He muscled it, strong enough kid. And Anderson, that ball a little lower. He rolls over. That's a little ground ball to short.
Yeah, Mattingly, again, talking to him today, couldn't say a bad thing about him. He loved his attitude, loved the type of player that he is. Again, he's one of those rated rookies. He's out there having a good year for the Marlins. This is the one guy in the lineup, Al, if you're a pitcher, that would kind of worry me in a big situation, because he knows how to hit. And, you know, he's a good hitter. You feel like you make your pitches and you can kind of set up some of the younger hitters, where Castro, even now, you see he's frustrated there, fouling that ball off, but is not going to panic and is going to put a good at bat together.
Yeah, looking at every series, and I actually circled a couple guys if there was more than one. Real Muto and Castro, I'm with you. In a game like this, you get late in the game, you're up to almost 90 pitches. Veteran guys, good hitters.
2-1.
But there's nothing trickery about what Lance Lynn has done with regards to off speed, changing speeds. He's predominantly gone after these hitters with his fastball.
Two and two.
Then you could duplicate that. You're getting a ground ball somewhere, or swing over the top of it.
Chopped slowly, and Duhar bare hands, and that's an infield single for Castro. His 24th of the year. That's the most in the National League, which is odd because he's not a speed burner, but he gets infield hits.
Again, how that you called it. I mean, just a number off the end of the bat. Good sinking fastball, but see, he gets out of the box quick. Duhar does everything he possibly can. Bare hands it. Got no chance. Greg Bird does a good job of leaving the bag to make sure you catch the ball.
Nobody warming up yet in the Yankee bullpen. Coming up on his 93rd pitch.
The day off tomorrow, and everybody pretty much just went 1 inning last night, so everybody should be kind of primed to go. We talked about possibly David Robertson not available.
Soft ground ball to Bird. Flips to Lynn. Good lead by Bird as the runners move up.
Yeah, that's a tough play. You're on the run. Generally speaking, the pitcher's not going to outrun a hitter. Here in this case with Dietrich, and that lead pass, Michael, as you just said, that's important. You got to assume the speed of the pitcher. He's looking to his left, then he's got to look for the bag to his right. A little bit of a tricky play. Nice job by Greg Bird and Lance Lynn.
You know, talking about the bullpen, Michael, you almost have to, if you're Aaron Boone, you know, you're almost managing backwards. Usually you're thinking, well, okay, I can use everybody. I've got a day off tomorrow. But you also got a doubleheader coming up over the weekend and 4 games in 3 days in Baltimore. So, you know, you do always have something on the back of your mind as a manager as far as how you're going to use that bullpen.
So the Yankees will give up the run on a ground ball. Anderson's at third, Castro's at second. So the tying run in scoring position, Yankees lead 2-0. Dean swings and misses. Dean is 2 for 2 against Lynn. And Conley's up. The second and final lefty out there. That one gets away from Romine, but the runners stay put. And Romine flips to Lynn covering. And you could see Anderson snapped his fingers in frustration.
I'll tell you what, you could tell by the sound that hit nothing but flesh. I mean, that just sounded like a hit by pitch. Mine did everything he could. Listen to this. Oh, right off the bicep. And it absolutely will just paralyze that arm for a little bit. Wow.
I mean, that was a 55-footer.
Yeah.
Great job by Austin Romine. And watch this ball hits halfway in the bunting circle.
Marlins 1 for 15 in these situations in these 2 games.
It's funny, I remember sitting on the bench one time with Matt Noakes, the catcher. And he got drilled, and he came back and he was sitting down. I said, "Man, you act like that didn't even hurt." He's like, "That's not, I mean, I get that behind the plate 5 times a day. That's just another hit by pitch. Doesn't mean anything." The more I thought about it, it's like the catchers. You're right. It's just another ball.
Two and 2 on Dean.
I know how you're throwing your hands up. I mean, that's hard to explain. I mean, that's a fastball right down the middle.
2-1 count with a guy who throws 88% heaters. What are you looking for?
So you're looking for that ball in or half. Tried to go up the ladder there, 95, and Dean quick enough. Foul that off. Back inside, Al, after going up and away.
I mean, for me, it just begs a curveball right here. It does.
Not if you're not going to throw one.
Grounded and backhanded by Torres, and he makes the throw to second. Run scores, but a great play. He saved the lead. That gets through. It's probably a tie game. And he's slow getting up.
Oh, he did. You begged and he threw it. Dean made a good swing, and I tell you what, the more you watch Torres at shortstop, no chance anywhere. Let's throw behind the runner and see if I get lucky. But boy, just to keep that ball in the infield, and just to have the thought in my mind, possibly I'll get him leaning towards third.
Yeah, that's a great job right here. Again, 1 out, keep him from not getting to third base, sac fly, score, tie and run potentially.
So now it's 2-1, Yankees lead, and that'll bring up Miguel Rojas. And there's some stirring now in the Yankee bullpen. But nobody is thrown at this point, so this is Lynn's inning. And Canely, who got the save yesterday, he's up first. Boone spoke yesterday at the game how he liked that Canely was pounding the strike zone. That bullpen sounds like it has good acoustics, Al.
When you're doing crow hops and just heaving it as hard as you can, yeah.
It's a good ego boost for a pitcher.
Yeah, I tell you what, there was nothing worse than a bullpen that just exploded when the guy was throwing back there. You know, you'd be in right field and hear this just wow, who the heck is warming up back there? He's some funky lefty I'd never heard of throwing 100.
The ego booster is the catcher has to have a popping glove, and you have to catch it in a right spot to make it pop. You talk about making a pitcher feel good.
One and two on Rojas. In the seventh inning, it's going to be the bottom third of the Yankee order. Bird, Romine, and if Lynn gets through this, a pinch hitter for Lynn. No Chapman today. He has been put on the DL with left knee inflammation. And the injury report is brought to you by Montefiore Doing More. So they say left knee tendonitis. He left last night's game after 6 pitches. You see what he's done during the season. Yankees moved Chance Adams onto the Major League roster to take his place. One-two. Driven deep to left field. Going back, Gardner. Still back. Turning, looking. See ya. A 3-run home run for Rojas. And it's 4-2 Marlins.
Tried to get in there, and Rojas really just beat him to the spot. This looks like a two-seamer in on his hands. It's one of those times now that it looks like a hitter just kind of guessed.
Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of guessing. 103 pitches, 104. Eventually, heater, fastballs.
Sierra with the bunt. Bunts it foul.
Rojas' 10th fastball. You see where Romine was setting up outside. 10th home run on the year, Rojas, that is.
How quick he is inside. That ball missed all the way across the plate. Was able to turn on it.
Check it out on StatCast AI, powered by AWS. 96.3 off the bat. Traveled 372, and Lance Lynn said, That's not going to help my night. So they are really pushing Lynn. They have a shortened bullpen because of Chapman. But in holding on to Lynn here, you've given away the lead, as the Marlins have scored a 4-spot in the 6th and still batting just 1 out. Grounded, third. Backhanded by Andujar. Long throw. And there's Sierra Speed taking over an infield single.
We said it last night, anytime an infielder has to move a couple steps, it's going to be safe, and Aaron Boone's on his way out.
Now, Boone was trying to avoid this. There's really not a double switch to be made. So you're bringing in Canely essentially for 2 outs. He's not going to be able to pitch in the 7th inning because you have to pinch hit for him. That'll do it for Lynn. First, and don't miss one of the hottest collectibles of the season. It's Brett Gardner bobblehead night, the 4th and final one in the 2018 collectible series presented by AT&T. For the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window. Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Brett's been all over the place the last couple of days. So there he's out on the plaza here at Marlins Park. Lance Lynn goes 5 1/3, the same that Trevor Richards gave the Marlins. 9 hits, 4 runs. And the runner at first, his responsibility. So Tommy Canely takes over. Yadiel Rivera will pinch hit for Harleen Garcia. Canely picked up the save in last night's game. High fly ball, deep right center. On the run, Stanton, and he cannot make the play. Playing the carom is Hicks. Grounding third is Sierra. Here's the throw. He's safe. An RBI double. Pinch hit double for Rivera. And it's 5-2 Marlins.
Well, the pitch hitting Yadiel Rivera didn't waste any time off of Kenley. Look at heater right down the middle, stayed on in right center. I thought Giancarlo Stanton had a shot. He knows this right field as well as anybody, just off the glove. Tack on run here. You see the ball going up a little bit toward the first base line. I don't believe they would have gotten the speedy Sierra.
That's one thing the Marlins will do, is they'll test your outfield, they'll test the runners. They do have speed, and sometimes they got to take a chance. Sierra's flying around the bases.
Scoring from first base. Hicks got as strong as arm as anybody in the outfield. Perfect strike. Sierra's just too fast.
And the pitch to Ortega is a strike, 1-2. There's the hitting coach for the Marlins, former Yankee Mike Pagliarulo. He and Mattingly were extraordinarily close in the early years of their career, as Ortega goes down on strikes. So 2 away, and that'll bring up Realmuto. One and one on Realmuto. So 5 runs in. Lance Lynn pitching such a good game through 5, but looks like he ran out of gas. And with their bullpen, without Chapman, it looked like Boone was trying to steal some outs here by pushing Lance Lynn a little longer than he would have.
It's definitely put a challenge to the Yankee offense, but you are in their bullpen, which as of late's pitched better, but horrible numbers overall for the year.
Foul ball down the left field line.
How you talked about circling a couple of the players that you don't give into right there. The better hitters with the Marlins. 2-1 count changeup up in the strike zone, but an off-speed pitch.
You know, for as hard as Tommy Kahnle throws, that's been his out pitch. High fastballs, changeups, and he's not afraid to throw it to right on right, which is kind of unusual. Right-handed pitchers generally like to throw it to the lefty. It's fading down and away as opposed to inside.
Still 2-2.
I left that up. I mean, Michael, you mentioned about Lance Lynn. I mean, just watching him, actually it ruined his night, no doubt about it. He dropped a 5 spot in the 6th inning. But coming into that inning, you're leading 2-0, but it was mostly with all fastballs. I know it sounds kind of like a broken record, but if he can spin the baseball and trust it just a handful more times and get some key outs, it's going to make it an easier outing.
I wonder what the Yankees think, because the Yankees are an organization that really asks their pitchers to throw breaking balls. They want, because it shows you have a harder time hitting a breaking ball, but the 2 guys they acquired at the demo round are fastball pitchers. So do you want to change what they do, Jay Happ and Lance Lynn?
Well, Happ a little bit more. I think Happ has a better feel for his slider, which gets better break and speed variation. But first time seeing Lance Lynn up front, close. Change speeds a little bit more. You'll get easier outs.
Realmuto really putting together a long at bat.
Realized Lynn, the first appearance out of the bullpen, very good. Couple really good starts. Last time he got beat up a little bit, and this time, for the first 5, really good job. So, if you're Larry Rothschild, you're Aaron Boone, I mean, he has showed promise to keep you in the game. Just gave up that 1 big inning.
And Realmuto swings and misses. But the Marlins take the lead. 5 runs on 6 hits. 1 man left on base. 5-2 Miami. Touches the MLB.TV game of the day. Pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. All right, we go to the 7th inning here at Marlins Park. And Adam Conley, we saw him last night, will be the 3rd pitcher for Don Mattingly. He'll face the bottom 3rd of the Yankee order, Bird, Romine, and likely a pinch hitter for Canely. Yankees down 5-2.
Adam Conley, a high draft pick out of Washington State, came up as a starter, sent back down, inconsistency. And now I think he may have found a home. Fastball slider guy, his velocity's been a lot harder, seeing some upper 90s.
So Bird 0 for 2 tonight, 2 for his last 25. Cadillac scoreboard 5-10-0, leading 2-3-1. And Conley zips a fastball outside 1-0. Fouled away. Chance Adams is up. He was called up today to replace the injured Aroldis Chapman. One and two. And the pitch. Looks like Luke Voigt will pinch hit for Canely. And the pitch. 3-2. Conley throws hard, as Al mentioned. Out of the rotation into the bullpen, and the velocity goes up.
Yeah, you see that a lot with pitchers, obviously coming in, throwing 8, 10, 12 pitches for an inning.
Grounded to first. One away. Paul, I'm going to put you on the spot because I just don't have the answer. He looks lost up there. What's going on with Bird?
You know, he's kind of in and out. He'll have a good swing, and then he'll have a bad at bat, and it's just the struggles of having, you know, a subpar year to this point. And, you know, you try to rush it, you try to force it as a hitter, and it just becomes a little more inconsistent as far as you have a beautiful swing and hit a grand slam and then come right back the next at bat, and it's like a totally different hitter. And it's just the adjustments of not being, you know, used to going through this as a hitter.
What do? You
know what, you really got to just work. I mean, you work hard and you trust what you're doing, and you try to get little small-term goals. You know, let's have a good at bat, let's have a good game, let's have a good week, instead of trying to make up for your whole year in a series. And that's what it starts compounding yourself, especially now with Judge out. You feel the pressure of trying to succeed, and you just try to do too much.
Now Meredith could certainly speak to this, and I think that the thing that sometimes gets fans is he's so chill and he's such a laid-back guy. He's not doing what you used to do when you made an out, Paul. I think, no, I don't even mean that in a derogatory way. I think that people like that because they were angry you made an out. You were angry that you made an out. As Austin Romine goes down on strikes, and Meredith, I mean, this is a guy I saw when you questioned him off the other bad game. He just doesn't seem like it's bothering him outwardly. I know inwardly it is.
Well, he's a guy that continues to put in the work. He is in the cage often. He is looking at video. I don't think it's a matter of caring or not caring, Michael. He wants to be successful at this level. He is working towards being successful at this level. The results just haven't been consistent so far. And in his mind, just in speaking with him, for him it doesn't seem like it does much good to beat himself up every day. He's looking at it as a big process and the big picture, thinking that he will get right and get there eventually. But that's frustrating for fans as they go out there and they watch him on a daily basis and they wonder why he hasn't been able to get the consistent results. But I can tell you, in speaking with them, it's not due to a lack of effort and it's not due to lack of caring.
Luke Voigt with a pinch hit single against Conley. And Paul, you were a bit of an outlier because not everybody reacted the way you would react after. So, I mean, did you find that helped you?
I found like it. I mean, everybody's wired different,
right?
And you know, it's not like it was a thought process of you know, snapping and throwing this or throwing that. It's just how you are. I mean, that's how I reacted to it. Some guys are much better. I mean, I saw Bernie have horrible games,
right? And
he would lay his bats in his locker and take a shower like he was 5 for 5, and it worked for him. So every player is different. You know, it is, as Meredith said, I agree 100%. Who doesn't want to put on a big league uniform and succeed and do well now? I mean, everybody wants results now. You realize that the biggest at bats, you have to keep reminding yourself as a hitter, are ahead of you. I mean, September is going to be a very important month, and if Greg Bird comes through, a lot will be forgotten.
And if a guy like Bird, who is laid back, reacted the way fans want him to react, it would be eyewash. Right. He would just be doing it so he could satisfy, you know, the hungry masses, and that's just not him. This chiropractic telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. And you know that his teammates wanted to, because, Paul, you remember he hit the grand slam, how Aaron Judge reacted.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt that, you know, the people that you're grinding with, they feel your pain. They've been through it.
I think of John Olerud, as you guys are having this conversation, who showed little or no emotion. At times, I've seen a similar approach and swing, and I've mentioned that, that I see a John Olerud-esque type approach, hitting-wise. And it was the same thing. Olerud, you'd have to check his pulse to see, you know, what's going on. And I'm with you. I reacted in a way of my frustration. You saw how I felt on the mound, probably to a fault, because as a pitcher you got to be under control and, you know, stay under control. But, you know, as you said, Paul, people react in all different ways. Personalities are different. Of course he wants to succeed. Who doesn't want to bat 400 in big leagues and have 40 bombs?
Be a pretty good year.
It'd be a great year. Which guy's down there saying, I want to bet 200 and have to answer the questions every day. But that also, in turn, is part of the problem, because then that perpetuates it. And it does become mental, because you're thinking about it. The dreaded batting average.
And, you know, one of your favorite teammates, Jimmy Key, showed no emotion on the mound, but he had a burning desire to succeed. Mike Messina, the same way. You don't think he wanted to be great every single time he pitched, but he didn't show it. He was very, very, you know, almost stoic, laid back on the mound. 2-0. 3-0 to Gardner, and Stanton is on deck. And he walked him on 4 pitches. Well, they are not going to let Connolly face Stanton. You would think that they'd go to a right-hander.
Without question, Michael.
Mattingly talking with Nieves. And here he comes. So we saw this young man yesterday. He throws 102 miles an hour. He'll face Giancarlo Stanton as a tying run.
Honestly, that'd be really cool. You know, I got 1 and 200 over there, so you know, it'd be really cool to be in this park and do it.
Well, so far, he came close last night. It has not been a great night tonight, a walk and 2 strikeouts, but now Stanton will come to the plate against Tayron Guerrero, a hard-throwing right-hander with an opportunity, if he does it, that 300th home run to tie the game. 60 strikeouts in 48 innings.
Well, we saw an impressive inning from Guerrero last night. Overpowering fastball at 102. Stanton was one of those strikeouts.
And the pitch. First and second, 2 outs are in the 7th. 5-3 Marlins. And that one gets past Realmuto, and the runners will move up.
You have that much arm speed and you throw that hard, not a lot of reaction time for a catcher. A base hit gets you run back, so you know it's not home run or nothing in these situations. Obviously you've got a power hitter up there, you want to see him get into one, but you know, if you're the Yankees offense, you just want to continue to put pressure on this team until you catch him or beat him.
Guerrero grew up on an island off the coast of Colombia that had no baseball fields. He had to take a boat each day to Cartagena for baseball practice. So that was his commitment to making it in this game. There's a 2-0 count on Stanton. Chopper, gonna be a tough play. Gonna be a base hit. Voit scores. Gardner moves to third. It's an infield single and an RBI for Stanton, and it's 5-3 Miami.
Well, they all count. We talked yesterday about Stanton. Is he going to play both days? And he did, obviously. And now you've got a Chopper where you've got to kind of beat it out. See how he gets down the line. Pretty good. Do or die play. Can't come up with it. Dragging it a little bit. You kind of go 80-85% and stay smooth when you've got a little hamstring injury. Big opportunity for Hicks here to just continue this line.
Hicks is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. A strike on the outside corner. The RBI for Stanton, his 81st of the year. Gardner darting off third, trying to unnerve Guerrero. One and one. Two and one. So the Yankees trying to come back after the Marlins scored 5 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees scored a run in the 4th, a run in the 6th, now 1 here in the 7th with the tying runs on base. They trail 5-3. Three and one. And Duhar's on deck.
Good eye, good takes, good at bat. Aaron Hicks gets something you like. 100-mile-an-hour plus fastball. Guerrero, if there's one thing, his bugaboo is he gets a little erratic.
3-2. So Stanton will go from first with 3-2 and 2 outs. Gardner, we'll see how it plays out at third.
Hicks trying to be really quick there. You saw it really didn't even stride into the ball. Just try to put it in play.
Stanton goes. Strike 3. Hicks down looking. And that will do it here in the 7th. He is not pleased with the call. Neither is the Yankee bench. Yankees score 1 on 2 hits. They lead 2. Time for the stretch. Local Nissan dealer. The Marlins lead 5-3, 5-10-0, leading 3-5-1. Both pitchers that started lasted 5 1/3. Lance Lynn ran out of gas in that 6th inning. A 3-run home run by Miguel Rojas. That was a big blow. Neil Walker, an RBI double and a sacrifice fly, so he's driven in 2 of the Yankee 3 runs. The other one was the infield single by Stanton. Let's take a look at that final pitch, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like the catcher's mitt. If you watch it, kind of brings it back towards the middle of the plate, which usually means it's off. Aaron Hicks hates it, and you know what? Aaron Hicks knows the strike zone as well as anybody.
Now we get a look at Chance Adams coming out of the bullpen. He deals a ball to Brian Anderson to start off the bottom of the 7th. Fouled away. So this is a new deal, obviously, for Chance Adams, who is a starter. Well, certainly a jerk with the glove there, but it looked like it might have been a strike before he jerked the glove toward the middle.
Yeah, it's a tough pitch. I mean, the guy's throwing 100. If he hits it, on a spot like that, you just hope that it's called a ball.
Cadillac scoreboard 5-3 Marlins over the Yanks.
And Michael, while Chance Adams clearly doesn't have experience coming out of the bullpen at the major league level, remember he was drafted in 2015 and he was a reliever. The Yankees immediately converted him into a starter. I asked him today how comfortable he is in doing so, seeing as how it has been quite some time since he has done it. And he said he still remembers the mindset that he had when he came in out of the bullpen. It's a little bit different, more attack mode, but overall he doesn't think it's going to be an issue to transition into this type of role.
3-2 count on Anderson. Now, it'd be interesting to hear Aaron Boone's answer when Meredith asked him, you're in a close game 5-3 and you're bringing in a neophyte as a reliever when there are relievers out there that you've used all year. So Chance Adams walks the first. And there's a day off tomorrow, too. Now, Al, we saw Real Muto move the glove, right?
Yep.
And it was a very awkward jerk of his hand to get the ball back, which obviously did not look smooth. And he happens to be a good catcher. And Buck Showalter told me last year, and some people agree and some people disagree, the manager of the Orioles, he said, I laugh when I hear about great framers. He said, what does it matter? The umpires made the call before it's hit the gloves anyway. He said, who cares how it's framed? He said, what umpire makes the call by where the glove is?
Not anymore. And I totally agree with what Buck said to you. Listen, they're on the computer. They're on this metric now that it's all done based on vectors and GPS. They're looking at where the plate is and what their eyeballs see as a strike. If you look at Real Muto, we went to that replay. He was setting up away for an outside corner. Yes, he reached inside, but his location of setup was on the outside corner. So long as the home plate umpire, Bill Miller, is looking at his strike zone, I agree. I don't care where he ends up catching. Actually, in years past, when they didn't have the system, you got, as a pitcher, ripped off from not getting occasional strikes because of what it looked like, mostly from the side in each respective dugout. They can't see side to side. They can see up and down.
And do they even see the glove? Do they see the glove? I mean, they're behind the catcher.
I think umpires disregard the presentation now than ever before because of the computerized system that has them on the clock, if you will, or in a computer with a disc after the game telling them correct, incorrect, and a percentage that gets these guys to All-Star games, postseason, and World Series.
1-2. I always found it fascinating that Roger Clemens hated a catcher that he called a windshield wiper catcher because the glove would move when the ball hit, but I would think that the call should be made before it hits the glove. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Let's see if they send Anderson on 3-2 and nobody out.
And when you're ahead in the game, your better hitters at the plate, you would assume that Anderson would be in motion.
He has 2 stolen bases, been caught 4 times. He is going, but it's ball 4. Ball goes into center field, but ball 4. So no throw is needed.
Adams having all kind of trouble with the strike zone right now. Coming out of the bullpen. Larry Rothschild's going to go out, see if he can settle him down. Now, if you're Romine, you're probably questioning Miller behind home plate that you didn't call it quick enough before you let the ball loose.
And I think that Torres knew it was ball 4 and he didn't make a real effort to catch that ball, and that's why Anderson is at third. Let's see if it. I mean, when we see the replay, if it was too high.
Yeah, this looks like
I think it was airmailed.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the call's made immediately, obviously Romine doesn't have to make the throw, and he never throws it into center field.
Yep. Or just hit Torres in the chest.
See that not very often now. A cracked bat on a foul ball. Ball got in on him. Kind of fought it off. Snapped the lumber.
Almost looked more of like a cutting fastball. Had a little depth to it. Good pitch from the right-hander to the left-handed hitter.
Soft ground ball, second base. There's one. They do not get the double play. Scoring is Anderson. And now it's 6-3 Marlins.
Right in on his hands, another jab shot. This is a four-seamer, fights it off. Dietrich does. A quick little shovel pass, not enough time to get Dietrich. The throwing error into the outfield, costing the Yankees another run.
Yeah, but if you break down this inning, a couple walks,
yeah,
and an airmail throw, you're just giving runs away, especially late in the game. Extremely sloppy inning at this point.
Austin Dean fouls one away. One and one. This should be two, but it's bobbled by Torres. He doesn't get anybody, so that's an E6. He was going for the bag before the ball was in his glove.
You're right, Michael. As this inning progresses, it's getting worse and worse. Ball gets under his glove. Easy double play. You don't see it. He's been so smooth at shortstop. And again, he's going to try to beat him. Probably been better off to flip this to Walker at this point.
Second error of the inning for the Yankees. A throwing error by Roman, allowing Anderson to go to third after a walk. And now the error by Gleyber Torres. 3 errors in the game for the Yanks. The other one by Lance Lynn in the first inning. He threw a comebacker over the head of Greg Bird. So here's Rojas, the big 3-run home run in the 6th against Lance Lynn. Along with Al Leiter, Paul O'Neill, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Miami leads the Yankees 6-3. And we thank you for spending part of your evening with us here on the YES Network. Chris Sheeran and Jack Curry back in the studio, ready for the post-game show. There's still a lot of baseball to go. 2-1. Up the middle, grabbed there by Walker. There's 1, and there's 2 for the final out. 1 run, no hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 8th inning. Marlins lead 6-3.
analysis on the Yankees and all the local teams. Plus, get an entertaining twist on the headlines from around the sports world. Catch TMKS on Yes every weekday at 3 o'clock.
All right, back here in Miami, 8th inning. Hyundai scoreboard 6-3 Marlins lead the Yanks on the Hyundai scoreboard. And Andujar will lead off against Guerrero. Fouled away.
You can see this Guerrero alley is one of those pitchers, if he gets a little confidence, heads up, because his stuff is pretty darn good at 102. Every once in a while he starts getting a little wild, but if he starts recording out after out, well, you can tell his confidence gets better and better.
Goes with a breaking ball there inside, 1-1. Andujar, Walker, and Torres. Grounded up the middle. Castro's there. 1 away. Now a quick word from Spectrum.
Spectrum Internet. No data caps, no contracts. Just faster speeds with better performance.
1 down here in the 8th inning, and here's Neil Walker.
You know, looking at Guerrero, Paul, you know, talking about this scouting and scouring the minor leagues at all different levels. A couple years ago, the Marlins picked him up at the trade deadline. Marlins got Andrew Kashner as the main big league guy. Tehran Guerrero was in it as a young A-ball pitcher. Traded for Jared Cozart and Carter Capps. I mean, this is one of the better arms in baseball.
Yeah.
You know, you harness this, come up with some kind of spinning breaking ball in his own. I mean, this closer stuff. Certainly closer stuff. Sure. Consistency, okay. Work on it.
Yeah, you can tell he kind of short arm and aims his breaking ball at this point, but boy, he lets the fastball go.
2-1.
He's not young. He's 27 years old, so he's been around a bit.
Grounded, foul. Sonny Gray's up.
If you hold Adams to, you know, limited pitches and then Gray possibly just an inning, then you, if you're Aaron Boone, could use either of them on the weekend possibly. Or
unless Sonny's just getting work. Michael, you said that there's a chance of him pitching one of the doubleheaders on Saturday.
There's a chance.
If there is, as a starter, career starting pitcher.
Neil Walker with a fly ball to left. 2 away.
I'd prefer not to get in the game. Get some work side day, Thursday, Friday off, pitch Saturday.
Well, you would think if he does not come into the game that it definitely is his start. Then he's just getting a little side work. Doesn't look like he's in any rush to get into the game. So.
He doesn't have a ball in his hand.
A little phantom work.
Shadow box.
Fly ball right field. Ortega in foul territory as the Yankees go down quietly here in the 8th. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees are down by 3. The entire 4-volume history of the Yankee series, which chronicles this legendary franchise from its origins all the way up to the current team. That's tomorrow starting at 7, right here on Yes. Chance Adams in for his 2nd inning of work here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Magneuris Sierra will lead off. Bunted, up in the air and out of play behind the plate. Monday scoreboard 6-3, Marlins over the Yanks.
Really funny, you saw the Yankees yesterday pretty much shut down, and you just had the feeling coming in today that it was going to be a big night offensively. For some reason, the Marlins pitching has been pretty good in this series. Real obviously impressive out of the bullpen.
Fly ball, shallow center, and that's going to dunk in for a base hit. So Sierra with a leadoff single here in the 8th.
Well, Jam shot in on his hand. Sierra just finding that little no man's land out there at center field.
That one is drilled to right field, and that ball is gone. Riddle with a 2-run home run, and now it's 8-3 Marlins.
JT Riddle pinch hit, didn't take long. Here's pitch.
Mattingly calling the right pinch hitters up there tonight.
And there's a strike to Ortega.
Got a heater, jumped on it. JT Riddle did his 8th home run on the year, 30 RBIs.
Ground ball to first, backhanded by Bird, and he flips to Chance Adams for the first out. And the count 2-0 on Realmuto. Two and 1. 8-3. Marlins lead the Yankees, trying to split this 2-game set. They split a 2-game set with the Yankees in April as well. Two and 2. Three and 2. Ball 4 is Realmuto. Walks. Take a look at exit velocity presented by Spectrum Internet with faster download speeds and better performance. This is the JT Riddle 2-run home run. Almost 100 miles an hour. Just gets over the high wall out there. So a pinch hit home run for Riddle. So here's Anderson. It's just curious that, you know, this game was somewhat manageable at 5-3, and tomorrow is a day off. Monday was a day off, and you would think that everybody that pitched yesterday other than Chapman would be available. And you went to a kid who's been a starter in the minor leagues, and obviously things are not going well. He wasn't hit that hard in the 7th inning, but an important run, and now a 2-run home run here. And I'm sure these are questions that Boone will have to handle after the game, and you can listen to the answer on the postgame show. 1 and 2. Two and 2.
Listen, Mike, you bring up a good point. Obviously, us sitting up here, we don't know. We don't know exactly what goes on from day to day and hour to hour. Not privy to every guy and how they feel. I think your point's well taken. Chance Adams, a starter, comes up from the minor leagues. It's a 5-3 game. You know, we knew David Robertson was told he was going to get an extra day. I think Jonathan Holder went through 3 out of 4 days. They're probably trying to work around him.
Fly ball right field, a base hit in front of Stanton. So Anderson on base for the 4th time tonight.
Anderson continually to try to put his numbers up for that Rookie of the Year National League. Obviously, he's got some tough company now. Acuna down in Atlanta. He was kind of the front runner to a couple of the young studs were called up.
That's A.J. Cole, who pitched in last night's game. So here's Castro. 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. 1-0. Two and 0. Lined into center field. It is a base hit in front of Hicks. Realmuto comes home. The throw is not in time as he scores on the hit by Castro. It's 9-3 Marlins.
You see Chance Adams and his body language, and his reaction is just like, this isn't going well. If you're Aaron Boone and you're Larry Rothschild, I mean, he is a starter. He is a you have to, you've got to get a few outs here, and you got to move on. Obviously, looks like he hit the plate before the tag. Yeah. Boy, in the old days, that's an ugly collision.
I was
right
just
there.
thinking that he was in a spot to get into the front row mine. So this is compliments of Meredith on Yankee bullpen usage. Here you see where Romine's up in front. So I'm just thinking out loud, guys. Green yesterday, 26 pitches, pretty high. May want to stay away from it. Holder was interesting because he punched out the side. He threw 3 of the last 4 days, something you generally don't want to do. Canely was in tonight's game. Cole threw 22 pitches. I'm not saying it's over. He threw 2 days prior to that. I imagine he was probably thinking hold back Betances Britton for some sort of quasi-close winning situation. Chapman DL, who pitched last night, threw 6 pitches. So, yeah, Gray was probably viewed more as if Lance Lynn didn't go deep in the game, he was a guy to kind of bridge to later in the game. So, a lot of usage in the last. I'm not even going back the last few days before that. Robertson back-to-back games on the 16th and 17th.
Got it.
Through 6 innings, they had 3 hits, 2 runs. The Yankees did.
It has not been a good offensive series for the Yankees, no doubt about it. Put a lot of pressure on the pitchers.
High fly ball, right field. Stanton into the corner, makes the play to retire Dietrich. And Anderson advances to third. And that's going to do it, as Boone will try to get the last out of this 8th inning out of the bullpen and will take the ball from Chance Adams. As Chris, Jack, and Meredith bring you highlights, analysis, and reaction from tonight's game, plus a look ahead to the weekend series with the O's. It's only on Yes. A.J. Cole comes in to face Austin Dean, and he'll try to get the final out here in the 8th inning. This will be his 25th game. He got out of that bases loaded, nobody out jam last night, a jam that he got into, and that allowed the Yankees to score in the 12th inning and win the game 2-1. So Dean 3 for 4 today, and also reached on an E6.
It's a big series offensively against the Yankees. Big home run yesterday. Again, we talked about it. I mean, this is a tryout for a lot of these kids to show Don Mattingly that, you know, they could be part of this team next year. There's probably, thinking about a 25-man roster, there's probably about 20 spots open at this point.
The 1-0. 1-1. Nine 14-0, leading 3-5-3. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-2. Foul back to the screen, 1-2. In the 9th inning, that'll be the bottom third of the Yankee order. Greg Bird will start it off. And the pitch. Fly ball left field. On the run is Gardner. He's there to make the play. Marlins add 3 more runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th. Miami leads New York 9-3. Series coverage begins at 6:30 with the Chevy pregame. Then Ken Singleton and John Flaherty will have the call from Baltimore right here on Yes and streaming on Fox Sports Go. CC Sabathia will come off the DL and start on Friday. He'll go up against Alex Cobb, coming off a pretty good start. And our coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. on Yes. Greg Bird leads off. And Javi Guerra, the new pitcher. Riddle takes over at shortstop. And Rojas at first. And if the Yankees rally, the pitcher is batting in the 5 hole for the Marlins in the bottom of the 9th. Those are the numbers on Guerra. Greg Bird 0 for 3, 2 for his last 26, and 7 for his last 62.
That last pitch is the pitch that kind of alarms you, Michael, because it's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right there that got by him. And, you know, when he's right, you know, that shouldn't happen when any hitter's right.
Also, Galloway takes over in right field. The announced attendance here at Marlins Park, 25,547. And those are the defensive changes that I just told you about, and where they are with the shift. 2-2. Driven the other way, and it is a foul ball. After the game, the Yankees will head to Baltimore. Tomorrow is an off day. And then the 4 games in 3 days against the Orioles at Camden Yards. Chop to second, Castro. 1 away. And here's Austin Romine. And a base hit past the diving Castro into right field. Romine picks up his first base hit of the night. He's 1 for 4. And now pinch hitting for Cole, Ronald Torreyes. And a strike to Torreyes. Torreyes hitting .324. Romine not being held at first base. Rojas behind him. 9-3 Marlins. That one is punched into right field. A base hit for Torreyes.
Well, Torreyes got a bat last night, lined to right field. Nice job of hitting right here, staying on this all-speed pitch going away from him. Slider down the way, doesn't try to do a whole lot. Actually love that kind of hitting. Hit the ball where it's thrown.
Well, if you could put his mentality in a lot of hitters' minds, I mean, you see he doesn't hold back. He just, you know, he's swinging. He expects to make contact. He expects to have a good bat. 9 times out of 10, he does.
Here's Gardner. He's 1 for 3 with a walk, stolen base, and a run scored. And the count 1-0. The hit by Torreyes, the Yankees' 7th hit of the night. Romine at second. Torres is at first. One man out. Count 3-0. Now Juan Nieves wants to stop this right here. So the pitching coach goes out and tosses with Guerra.
I know it was off air, but after last inning with Guerra having thrown up 2 scoreless, the hard thrower for the Marlins, Tyrone Guerrero, would you have kept him in for a team that's, you know, obviously not doing well this year? 50 wins, last place.
I think of the 2 or 3 run lead, he might have gone and stretched him out, but you know, you get a 6-run lead, you know, bring him out on a positive note and just give another guy a chance. Tell Don Mattingly, it's never been easy. None of these wins this year have been easy.
Strike one, 3-1 on Gardner. Yankees need base runners on deck. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. Yanks down 6. Grounded to first. There's one. Back to first. A game-ending double play. 3-6-3. And Stanton will have to wait to Baltimore to try for his 300th home run. And the Yankees split this 2-game set against the Marlins. They squeaked by with a victory last night, 12 innings. And tonight, in an ugly game, they lose by a score of 9-3.
Yeah, that's a nice play, Rojas, ending this game in a double play. Speedy Gardner couldn't beat that one out.
So, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left in the 9th. So the Yankees lose 9-3. More to come from Miami, then the post-game show after that. Stay right where you are. You're watching. Yes.